Ricky here with Hanging Out with Local Heroes, and I'm here with a brother who is just a few hours away from me up north. Now, this brother initially he came from Lahaina, Maui, and I'm going to go and read some of his background so you guys get a little feel for my brother over here, our hero for today. After high school, graduated from UH Manoa and spent 11 years in Oahu. And after that, he moved to the Bay Area 2014 to raise his family, start a health and fitness company known as Positive High Fitness. What's awesome is in 2022, he decided to pivot and say, you know what? I'm going to go and share the goodness of kava to the world with his company now called Stay Rooted Kava. The brother loves to hang out, loves to talk stories, loves to inspire people. This dude is full of energy, as you're going to see today. So without further ado, I'm not even going to give anything away about my brother's story. Our hero for today, my brother Sergio.
What's up,
Sergio,
dude?
how
How's
you
it
doing,
going?
man? Good,
Yeah,
good.
oh yeah. Thanks. Like you said, we met through Dez and everything, and it's always that quote unquote cliche, your vibe attracts your tribe. You know what I'm saying? But it's true. You know what I'm saying? It's like the energy you put out, it's gonna come back to you, right? So yeah, just stoked to be here, talk story. That's I just love talking story, connecting with people, and yeah, I'm learning about you too. You know what I'm saying? So I know it's you're learning about me and you guys learning about me, but yeah, I want to learn about you too, because we had brief conversation, during through the DMs and through the summit and stuff. But yeah, pretty stoked, dude.
Oh man. The thing I learned about you right away was this dude is pure energy, number one. Number two, this dude is pure positivity. So that was what caught my attention immediately. And I said, you know what? I gotta talk to this brother and find out if he's always been this energetic and if he ever what kind of struggles he's gone through to stay this energized. Because when we run into struggles, sometimes we lose that energy. I'm sure our listeners would like to find out how the heck is Serge still so energetic and what is it that keeps him this way?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, for me, like I talked about it at the summit, about just like staying rooted, just remembering like why you're here, like for me, I actually had this thought this morning. I do my cold shower meditations. I just take like really cold showers in the morning, and I have like my like cold shower downloads, I guess, my thoughts. And it's one of it was this morning was like dedicate yourself to something.
Mm.
It's like dedicate yourself something either like internal or external, like say for martial arts or drawing, yoga, like something you've always wanted to try. But for me, it's I'm dedicated to like my family and myself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like no matter what, dude, it's like I gotta keep going, right? So I just gotta stay rooted within like that thought, that thought frame of just keep going for my family and myself. You know what
That
I'm
is
saying?
fantastic, brother. I gotta ask, when you were growing up, did you have an awesome family dynamic as a
Uh,
child?
yeah. So the family dynamic, yeah, my basically starting from the fourth grade, was raised by my mom because my mom and dad got divorced in the
Okay.
fourth grade. But I mean, he was still there. It's funny because he got they got divorced and he moved like three houses down. So like, I don't think my mom was happy about that. But yeah, we still got to see my dad and stuff. But for the most part, it was more of like he was still there, but like I still had my mom as like holding it down for the
Gotcha.
household and stuff. And yeah, like we still had our struggles and stuff because yeah, he was still there, but as far as like I guess like financially he kind of like drifted off. So like the struggle of like finances and stuff, and watching my mom just like go through it. You know what I mean? Like yeah, that's pretty tough and all this stuff. And but yeah, just for me it's like just run up in Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how we are as far as like especially growing up there. Like you take care of each other, right? So there it's like, and my mom's side, her family, they're from Maui, right? So like I had a whole bunch of cousins, dude. Like
Gotcha.
and something first cousins. So we'd always like get together, birthdays, weekends, and stuff. So basically, just like for me, like remembering like those times of like being around like good people or like being around your family. So I think that's where my whole, and I've always been like that way of like connecting. Like I can like talk story with anybody, like somebody next, at the grocery store. And I was like, oh shoot, like yeah, if I see something in their car, I was like, hey, how is that, dude? Just like talking story, you know what I'm saying? And like and like kind of like being not necessarily like a chameleon, but just like being interested in so many things where I can have like a conversation of like just like certain random things or like connect dots. it's like, oh shoot, like, oh, I have a friend who's interested in that, and then start talking about all that stuff that I've learned from my friend. But yeah, dude, I mean, it's weird when people say like, oh yeah, like your energy or like, you know, your positivity. Like for me, it's like normal. So it's like when people say that, it's like, oh shoot, all right, cool, like thanks. You know what I mean? So
It's because it's out of the norm, brother. You're not gonna have somebody who is just naturally gonna be interested in another person, and to see
yeah.
somebody like that, man, it's a breath of fresh air. So the
Yep,
fact
yep,
that you're that way and it's natural for you, that makes it even 150% even better because
yeah.
it's you.
Yeah. For reals, dude.
Yeah, that's amazing. I gotta ask you, brother, with regards to the family, because knowing the fact that your parents were separated,
Yeah.
I wanted to find out what made you want to become this amazing father and husband to your family. What inspired you to choose that path instead of obviously what you saw with your family?
Yeah. I think for me it's mainly good question. I think it just came to me, dude. Like I just want to be there for, you know, my kids, right? And then well, backstory, the reason why I moved to the mainland to California is because well, I tell people my girlfriend got pregnant and then that's why we moved, but we actually broke up. And then a few months later, like she called me. It's like, oh shoot, hey, like we were still talking a little bit, but by then we are kind of drifting away. It was like, oh, okay, I'm like getting over the breakup and stuff because she's from the Bay, but she lived in Hawaii for about 2-3 years, and then she got island fever and she wanted to be close to her family. And I wanted to be, and I was like, oh shoot, I thought I was gonna be like island boy for life, dude. Just grow up, die in the islands. You know what I'm saying? But then I was like, oh shoot, I actually want to stay here. So we made a decision to. She moved, and then I stayed. But then yeah, got a call a couple months. She was like, oh hey, by the way, I think I'm preggers. I'm like, oh shoot. It's like, all right. So then she was like, and it's for sure yours. Yeah, it's like, but then she was like, oh, I know you wanted to stay in Hawaii. You can either stay in Hawaii and pay child support, or you can move to San Francisco and stay with us. So I was like, oh man, that's my kid, dude. So there, it's like it's made the move to San Francisco, and then from there, it's because even further backstory, like I was into like partying, like just like getting drunk and just partying and everything, and like I was shifting my life as far as finding health and fitness as like my, I guess, my passion and my career choice.
Yep.
But then once found out Elijah, or like once Elijah was born, that's when I was like, oh shoot, all right, it's time to stop messing around and like do some things, you know what I mean? But yeah, so then there was like, okay, like that's when I got really focused into like launching the Positive High venture.
Yep.
And then moving to mainland, like I didn't know anybody, so that's all I had, right? Was Jovi, her family, Elijah, and my new path. So there, it's like I didn't have any like outside distractions. So
Right.
there, I was like, okay, cool. It was just like the blinders were on. I was like, all right, cool. Let's just make this happen. So yeah,
Wow. So brother, you're telling me you and your current, you and the wife
yeah,
were at a point of separating,
yeah,
separating.
yeah, yeah. We actually fully like broke up. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So broke up, and then yeah, because she really wanted to go back home, but
Yeah.
then I was like, no, dude, like I said, like island boy for life, dude. I wanted to stay in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So then we're like, oh, okay, let's just let's not make each other a burden. You know what I'm saying? So let's just follow our own hearts and paths and stuff. And then eventually Elijah just brought us back together. Yeah.
Wow. And I love
Yep.
what you said, brother, because you said you're a party boy, hardcore,
Yep.
so on and so forth. And then the when your son was born is when you grew up.
Yeah. Pretty much, dude. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Pretty much, dude. Yeah. So
Oh
I always say like
man.
I was a party boy turned fitness enthusiast turned fitness professional, or health and fitness professional. So
I mean, you are super fit, brother. Have you always been working out even during the party days?
yeah, basically like my like form of fitness was basketball, like basketball and like going beach, like surfing, bodyboarding and stuff. But then it wasn't until I found my trainer, my mentor,
Uh-huh.
that's when I got into like the actual like gym and like fitness stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I was pretty active. Like I always tell people like I was fit, but I wasn't healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like I would still like work out and like be active, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
ride my bike and all this other stuff. But I was still just drinking
Drinking.
like 3, 4, yeah, because I used to work uh marketing and promotions for this radio station, this radio broadcast company. So we did like club events, bar events, and other events.
You
So
have to drink.
yeah. So like that was like, like that was part of the culture I was in, but also like my identity. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh shoot, like this is just like I'm part of this lifestyle, so I'm taking on that identity. But then once like fitness or the my mentor Eddie came about,
Yeah.
that's when I started shifting. I was like, oh, okay, I was still partying, but I was more of like, okay, I can't get too drunk on a Friday or like on a Wednesday or Thursday because I have to take class in the morning. So I started shifting the identity from like party boy to fitness enthusiast, and then eventually shift into fitness professional, and then added the dad,
The dad.
identity. So yeah.
Wow. And when you started choosing to become more responsible, more accountable, how amazingly did your life change?
Oh, big time, dude. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I always tell people like back when I was, in my 20s, it was like I lived like the perfect like 20s lifestyle
Yeah.
where I just like partied, adventure, you know what I'm saying? And like, I was still, there was times where I was in like my mental prison of like self-comparison, negative self-doubt, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like trying to find my way, like, oh shoot, like what I'm gonna do, like comparing myself to like my college classmates who, Facebook, social media, they seem like they have their careers together and everything. And then I'm like still here, I was also working in a hotel. So, yeah, so I was just like doing bellman valet, but also working promotions and marketing. So there it's like that mental aspect. I was in like a cycle of like I would be super motivated and then just get like afraid of like I had a fear of success of leveling
Mm.
up. So
Mm-hmm.
then there I would like and then compare myself. And I was like, oh fuck it, let's just party. So then there a party, rage, and then after that to be super hungover, like, oh no, I'm never doing this again. Let me change my life. And then get back to like the upswing and then get back into that negative comparison. It was like, oh shoot, you know what? Never mind. Let's revert back to what is easier,
Right, where you're comfortable at that
Yeah.
zone.
Yeah.
You just said something that was magical, man. And I gotta share that. When you said that you were scared to level up and hit that success, that's so true. And we're talking about most people. They're like, I don't know, am I worthy of this level of success up here? So
Yeah.
they go back here thinking, I don't deserve it. How did you overcome that?
I just pretty much kept going.
That's it, huh? Just keep
Yeah.
pushing forward.
Yeah. Kept going. And yeah, because for me, it's like it's not necessarily like the fear of failure. Like I'll do it, dude. I don't care. But then there it's like, oh shoot, I'm here now. Like, what do I do? You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, let me like, like if you're playing basketball, like the clock's ticking, you got the ball. It's like, oh, you have a chance to like win the game. It's like, oh shoot, never mind, take it, dude. Just pass it. Right. So but yeah, pretty much I just kept going and like kept learning, dude. So I'm still at that. I'm still, working through that, that level, that fear of like success, you know what I'm saying? But then like one of my friends tells me it's like, you're always gonna be, leveling up, but there's gonna be a point where you pass that stage. Now you're like stage 20, but then level 0. You know what I'm saying? So then there's like, okay, you got to get to, 10 levels to level up that next stage.
Right.
So yeah, just kind of just knowing, dude, there's always gonna be something. And yeah, just learning. Yeah.
Hey, brother, you are literally we have so many similarities when it comes to the craziness and just partying, of course, and all the things that we've gone through. This is something I wanted to ask you because most people are thinking, oh, it's too late or there's no more time. What's
Yeah.
your take when people use time or no time rather as a reason?
Oh, I mean, for me, I like how you said like reason, because there's like I had this thought like a couple of days ago. I was talking to a friend, like there's excuses and then there's reasons, right? Like, yeah, so like excuses is you just like getting in your own way, right? And then later reasons is like legit. It's like, oh shoot, I feel like I don't have any time, right? So there it's for me, especially with like shifting to stay rooted kava. Like if I started this, say like 5, maybe 7, 6 years ago, I would have been like, oh yeah, I want to do this, like not afraid of like jumping and flying.
Yeah.
But then now it's like, okay, I have a foundation of like my network, and then now let me see how it works within my timeline. It's like, all right, it's like map out like your own timeline. Like, all right, how fast, and like if you do go, say for example, like stay rooted kava, like if a lot of people are like, oh, are you gonna open up a kava lounge, kava bar? But then for me, it's like I gotta think about my family. Like, okay, if I do open up a brick and mortar, how much time will I have to invest in that brick and mortar? But then how much time will my family have? You know what I'm saying? So there, it's like having your like non-negotiables. It's like for me, like figuring out the all right, cool. It's like I have to spend time with my family. I have to take care of myself. You know what I'm saying? So like those are like the two things there. And like if it's like causing me like unnecessary like stress, and like I mean, actually you're gonna stress. You know what I'm saying? But it's like how much are you willing to stress out on it? You know what I'm saying? Because like owning your own business, or even like say like health and fitness, it's
Yep.
like, yeah, you may have this certain idea in your head, but then it's like, is it really your idea, or is it what you see on social media or what other people are telling you? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But then again, it's like you'll never know until you find out. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So, but yeah, that's for me, it's like, yeah, it's like find out like your non-negotiables, right? Your non-negotiables, and then find out how much time you have to really like truly invest,
Yep.
and then just experiment, just go. You know what I'm saying?
I love what you said with regards to non-negotiables, because family, non-negotiable. Gotta be
Yep.
there, gotta make sure there's always time for that. And something that you didn't voice out, one of your biggest non-negotiables is you're not ever gonna quit.
Yep.
You're not
Yep.
ever gonna quit. And I love the fact that you shared something that we both share heavily. I haven't even said the word yet, but we share something in common that I really appreciate. You, my friend, are a massive risk taker, and you're not scared to fail.
Mm.
Would you
Yeah.
would you mind sharing this with our listeners? Because I'm sure they'd want to find out, how do you go into, so gung ho, knowing there's a possibility of failing, but you still push forward?
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's a good question. It's more of like just kind of, for example, like for state rooted kava. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, like transitioning from the positive high venture to stay rooted kava. Like for me, like health, fitness, and wellness coaching, like I was good at it and I liked it, but it's just like I think mentally and spiritually, like the pandemic like hit me big time.
Yeah.
But then also once, because Ella's what 7 8 months now,
Uh-huh.
so then now having a newborn, and then still trying to navigate through mentally and spiritually, giving my family the energy, but also trying to create change for other people. You know what I'm saying? It was just like too much for me. And then there I was like, oh shoot, okay. And I've been drinking kava. I love kava. So there I was like, oh, I can still help people and still educate, but I'm not going to be as, emotionally, spiritually invested in them. You know what I'm saying? So there it's like, plus I wouldn't have known that if I didn't take the leap with, PHS originally. You know what I'm saying? So there it's kind of yeah, basically just trying, dude. It's like if you have like something inside you, it's like, oh shoot, I want to, like, for me, for example, once I got into fitness,
Uh-huh.
I was like, and I was at the point where it's like I didn't know what I want to do with my life, but I saw how being, in the, he called it warrior class, in the class with, Eddie training or coaching us, my classmates, like we're struggling, but we're going through it. You know what I'm saying? And we feel great there, like afterwards. And like the camaraderie, everyone like pushing each other and stuff.
Yeah.
So there it's like, man, plus like, and I wouldn't have found out about that class if I just didn't try. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't just, if I didn't pick up the phone and talk to his wife, like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm down for the free class. Like, it's like, just go. Basically, dude. Yeah, it's like, yeah. And like, I also had another thought a couple of days ago about just giving yourself a chance, dude. Like, just, you know, say for example, like surfing, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to go surf and learn how to surf, it's like you can be on the beach all day, watch all the other surfers do their thing, but there's always going to be like, the inside where it's not, too crazy, and then the inside break, and then you go further out, the waves are getting bigger and bigger. It's like, okay, like just jump in the water. It's like swim a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yep.
just go swim, and then have like your board with you, and then once you feel comfortable, it's like, all right, cool, like you're already in the water, go call some friends and go learn how to surf together. You know what I'm saying? So there it's, and then once you go to the outer breaks, or even if you venture out,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna find the other surfers who are experienced, and then you can ask questions. You know what I'm saying? So, or even, if you have the resources or money, like hire an
That's right.
instructor, like a surf instructor or a coach or a mentor. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, it's like, oh, just go. It's like, and tell like your friends and family what you want, what you want to do. And then, yeah, if you have a great circle, they're gonna, all right, let's help you out. So
You said it so magically, brother. You got to surround yourself with a support group, and more importantly, that support group's got to be better than you. You
yeah,
can't be the smartest person in the room, otherwise you will not grow. And
yeah,
I love what you said. What you said is best. Just try it. You're not going to know until you try. You can watch and say, well, he could have done this, or he could have moved left a little bit. Maybe he should have ducked down. Instead of doing that, get into water, fall down, get wet.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
love that, brother. Yeah, people definitely got to try. If they're going to do something, if they're going to find out if they're really passionate about it, similar to what you did when you got into fitness, similar to what you did when you got into Kava and you made that phone call, the most important step is the first step. So, brother, you said it right. You got to give it a
yeah,
try and
yep,
move
yep.
forward. I got to ask you, would you mind sharing your story about Kava and why it's so important to you, how it's beneficial for people, and why people should even consider it? Because I think with what you're doing, it's amazing, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah, for sure. Like I've actually been drinking kava like on and off for what, like 10, like over 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so like it's like on and off, but basically the main times I would really drink it would be like family parties, because then kava actually helped me like stop drinking alcohol. Yeah, so yeah, back in what, 2016, I decided like cold turkey. I was like, oh dude, I just don't want to drink anymore, because Elijah was already two, and he would get up in the morning and want to just like party and play. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So there, I wanted to be, that dad, or like that person where it's like no matter what time, if it's like 6, 7 a.m., I can just wake up and just go.
Right.
Because if you're hungover and stuff, you just feel like death sometimes. Like, oh, you know what? No, I don't want to be the dad. Like, oh, you give me like 2 hours, or like let me wake up. Like, I just wanted to be ready. You know what I'm saying? So one, that kava helped me transition, from drinking alcohol to I guess a non-alcohol life, because during family parties and stuff, people drinking wine, beer, all this other stuff, and I'll just make myself some kava. You know what I'm saying? Because kava, as a drink, it's a ceremonial drink, but it's also rooted in like gathering. Like, you're really supposed to drink kava with other people. You know what I'm saying? Because they use it for weddings, ceremonies, and just hanging out. So
Wow.
there, yeah, one, it helped me back in 2016 transition off of alcohol. Yeah, and then most recently, this when I started drinking it like on the regular was at 2021, like April.
Uh,
From April to like August, like I was just stressing about just business, and I was having like just in basically insomnia. Like, I'll be able to sleep, but I'll get up at like 12, 1 o'clock,
yeah.
and I'll go back to sleep, dude, and just like have thoughts ruminating in my head about just everything. And then for like what, yeah, almost like 5, 6 months, this was going on, dude. So it affected a lot, as far as like my relationship with with my wife, with Elijah at the time, with myself, my business. So then there, I tried like melatonin. CBD was working, but it was just getting too expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll use my my breathing techniques, and like other grounding my shower meditations.
Hmm.
But then kava like really helped me like stay asleep. Yeah, so yeah, from there, and then yeah, basically I would just share it with friends. And then once I decided, like I wanted to transition out of health, fitness, and wellness coaching,
Hmm.
my friend was like, hey dude, you should just like you already share kava like with everyone that you come with. Like, why don't you just like monetize and like just make it a business? So yeah, so I'm doing Stay Rooted, but I'm also working with Koa Kava. It's a kava company, as their sales and marketing director. So Yeah, it's
Awesome.
yeah, and then with that one too, I just with my network, like me being able to talk to a lot of people, I always like hitting up everyone. Hey, do you know any like sales and marketing director or any gigs lined up?
Right.
And like a lot of people say, oh yeah, let me ask. And then Cole Cabo was the one that said, hey, we actually need help. So and it just pretty much everything aligned, and it all came because I never stopped, man.
That's impressive.
Yep.
That is
Yep.
impressive. Wow.
Yeah.
And you didn't even know did you really know anything about Kava when you first got into it, or you had to learn everything right from that moment when you got introduced?
Yeah, like actually like diving into like really diving into it. I didn't start till like what like eight last no even after April, probably last year, so 2020 or 2021 or 2 years ago, year and a half
Oh
ago, probably like
wow.
October or November. That's when I was like, oh shoot, let me actually like study up and like teach other people like what I learned, right?
Gotcha.
So yeah, so actually like I've been drinking for a while, but really diving into like the science and the culture and how it's cultivated and like all this other stuff. It wasn't until like November 2021. Yeah.
Wow. It literally helped you with your insomnia.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. Big time, dude. Yeah.
You know how many people are suffering from that horrible, 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 I don't know if it's an illness or whatever, but whatever
Yeah.
it is, it's terrible.
Yeah. It is, dude. Yeah. And it sucks, dude, because it's like you're just a zombie, dude. Like
Yep.
it wasn't good, dude. Yeah. As far as like me trying to function like with just family, business, just everyday life, dude. Yeah. It was not cool. It was not a fun time.
No.
Yep.
I'm extremely happy for you as well as the
Thanks, dude.
family. I mean, the business is going great and everything is most importantly what I'm seeing from everything you've shared so far has been about keeping everything balanced.
Yep. Yep.
And you have this amazing balance in your life, so everything's going great. I'm proud of you, brother. Man,
No,
that's
thanks,
awesome.
dude. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, not only like balance, but also like because how some people say like work-life balance, like 50-50, but
Sure.
it's more of like creating the parameters where you can give like 100% to each element. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like not like, oh, I'm gonna give 50% to my family and 50% to my work. It's like, oh, create parameters where you can give 100 to your family and then 100 to your whatever your work, your career,
A hobby.
business,
Yeah.
hobby. Yeah. So
Makes perfect sense.
I guess just because this is who I am. So like whenever like I just talk story with people, they're just like, oh shit. Yeah, I never thought about that. And I was like, oh yeah. I guess because that's the perks of growing up being an overthinker. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yep.
yeah, just like overthinking everything, dude. Yeah, and just like fucking yeah, now like I've like channeled it to like overthinking, but like from overthinking to like contemplating. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
So
overthinking it stunts us sometimes. We're like, should I do it or should I not? Let me think about that.
yeah, so oh shoot. Yeah, so I think that's what helps me to like just go and just do it because for like years I would like overthink, dude, like in my 20s, like with the self-comparison, self-doubt. I was overthink, and just not do anything. You know what I'm saying? Until I decided it's like, oh dude, let's just do it. So then yeah, and then now I'm learning, age and experience. It's like now I can pick and choose. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to do everything, right? I don't have to
Right.
like before I like when I started what late 20s, that's when I
Uh-huh.
started positive high system. Even then I was like, oh shoot, am I too old to be starting this thing? It's like, no, dude, it's like just go. Like no one's gonna ask you, it's like, oh, how old are you? It's like, oh, why are you starting at that age? You know what I'm saying? That you're just gonna especially if you have a good circle, they're just gonna respect and like try to help you to grow. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, circling back, I think that's what helped me to just do it is because I was, an overthinker for so long that I didn't take action.
Yep.
Where I was like, oh shoot, let's just go. But then now it's like I can't like, especially with stay rooted, like I want to go at a steady pace. I don't want to just start running and burn out. So
Good
yeah.
man. Plus you right. So when you do have time with your family, you're not going to be all stressed out.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
That is awesome, man. I guess the last thing I'd love to ask, brother, is because you knew who you were when you were younger. you were a party boy, you were drinking, you didn't care about responsibilities.
Yeah.
Does this ever hinder you now? Do you ever look back and think, I don't deserve this because of who I was?
Hmm. Shoot. I don't really think of it like that way,
Okay.
but it's more of like, oh shoot, it's like not necessarily wasting time because I made a lot of good friends and stuff, and like I made a lot of good memories and everything. So it's more of like, oh, I could have been more productive with my time. But
Okay.
then there, it's like giving yourself more grace, dude. It's like, oh, it's all right, dude. You're freaking going through it, And then like all the stuff that like I learned and been through as far as like network, knowing how to network and like talk to different types of people. It's like I'm using it right now. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm still gathering, people and like but instead of using alcohol, now I'm using health, wellness, and kava. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm still gathering people for now a different reason as far as just raging and partying. Now it's like, oh, gathering for like health, wellness, and kava. You know what I mean?
I
So
think,
it's pretty much I'm doing the same thing that it was before, but now
yeah.
I'm not having 3 or 4 day hangovers. Yep, yep,
Oh man.
yep.
The reason I asked that is because most people, this is interesting. I'm thinking all people, if you ask me, have some kind of backstory where they feel like, oh, I was a horrible person back in the days,
Mhm.
and they have that stigma still stuck to them.
Yep,
And the
yep.
reason I brought that up is because I'm one of those guys.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
had that stigma being a gang member, troublemaker, and all that stuff, and I'm thinking, do I
yep,
deserve it? So
yep. Oh
for
yeah,
oh God, and it
oh
it
yeah,
it held me down for so long until I realized, and I followed my brother Sergio's advice, which is, just get over it and do it. I literally realized that it is who I was back then. It
yep,
made me who I am today. So whatever leadership and whatever I learned from back then, I'm using it now for positive. So what you said
yep.
hit home. So for anybody listening to this, if you've got something that was crazy in your life that you think you don't deserve something, realize what you've learned from that experience and use it for something positive. That's the way to pay it forward.
Yeah, or even stuff too, like 2020. I remember uh I don't know why it's like burned into my subconscious, but I remember this one outing where I was ordering drinks, and then I guess I was just super. We got just really drunk, and then I just left without like paying the freaking tab, and then my friend Nestor had to actually pick up the tab, and I guess like his kid was about to be born, and like that put him in like a hole. I had no idea, and then like for some reason it just stuck with me, and then finally I was like, dude, I gotta call him up. So 2020, I called him up and I was like, hey, dude, like I'm sorry about what happened that all those years ago. I was like, I want to pay you back. You know what I'm saying? Then he was like, oh shoot, like I didn't realize like it still stuck with you and like it was burning, inside of you. And it was like, you know what, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like you were, at that moment in life, that's just like your mentality and who you were. But it's like, I forgive you. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like a weight lifted. I was like, so like there I like faced what was like actually bothering and like for years, dude, it's like
Yeah.
it like hurt me. You know what I'm saying? So there it's like I like released it, and then just by like talking to my friend. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Your
it's like
friendship is stronger now, huh?
oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
Oh man.
So, but yeah, man. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta face it, dude.
I really appreciate you, brother. The fact that you took on that responsibility and the fact that it was a weight on your chest, but more importantly, you accept the responsibility, you reached out and you were accountable to that brother. And guess what? Like you just said, man, your relationship is probably tighter than it was ever before. Is there
Yeah.
anything that you'd like to leave for our listeners?
Yeah, I think yeah, one of it is like we are saying, it's uh kind of just set your boundaries, you know what I'm saying? Like the foundation, like, like all right, like set, especially if you want to start something new. It's like, okay, like what's important to you right now? It's like, okay, what's important to you right now? And is this new thing gonna take away from, whatever it is that's super important to you? You know what I'm saying? And then from there, uh just go and ask for help also. You know what I'm saying? Ask for help and let people know what what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because there's gonna be someone like dude, I didn't know you existed like 2 months ago, dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like, but you just keep putting yourself out there, and then eventually you're just gonna run into other people on that same like wavelength and path. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just set your boundaries, like what's important to you, like your non-negotiables,
Yep.
and then figure out if the path is what you want as opposed to what someone's telling you what it should be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, what it should be, but you can learn from other people, right? For that's been through it. But then there it's like, okay, it's like this is what is going to be good for me. And then if you go and you find out, it's like, oh shoot, actually, you know what, this isn't good for me. You can still, pivot and like learn from whatever you've learned from. But you're in the water, dude.
Wow. Thank you, brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the words of wisdom, as well as everything you've shared, putting yourself out there and giving us just these gold nuggets left and right, man.
Nice. Yeah, thanks,
Once
dude.
again, once again, on hanging out with local heroes with my brother Sergio. Thank you for being on the show, brother.
Hell yeah, thank you, dude. Appreciate you.
Inspiring one person at a time. Until the next episode, peace out.